Yeah, you know what, Nick? I think that is a really good point that you bring up.
Yeah, I thought it was insightful. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, hello everyone.
Hey, we're streaming
We're
live.
streaming live. Sorry, we were just having a little book club and talking about some interesting design theories. Um, with the things around us. Hello, welcome. I think that we started off the stream a little bit early and a little bit weird. It looked on my side, you guys maybe got a little bit of the behind the scenes. Um,
That's just a
so
good read,
yeah, it's true. Yeah,
catching up on my sketchbook.
I looked at the monitor and there it was me saying three, two, one, and then opening the intro. So you guys got a little bit of behind the scenes. Welcome. This is Office Hours with Nick Longo and Andrew Hochradel. We're here to hang out and help you step up your portfolio and give great feedback and maybe some hot takes. Today, I know we
Yeah,
have some hot takes. Nick, do you want to introduce yourself? Let people know who you are.
sure. My name is Nick Longo. I'm a designer based here in LA and have a small business doing restaurant and food and beverage branding. And I teach at Cal State University Northridge. Portfolio reviews tomorrow. So excited, man.
Yep,
Yeah.
and I'm Andrew Hochradel. You can just call me Hawk. I run Hawk.co, and I do a lot of creative projects, a lot of kind of in all-encompassing things. So you can check out Hawk.co and see the things that I do because it's a little bit of everything. All
Nice,
right.
dude.
So I'm still waiting for behind the scenes videos. Thank you, PM. Also, hello everyone. Good morning, Lisa. Pro designers here. Daniel Newman, Cody Bear, Raphael. It's great to see you. I'm glad to see you, and it's great to see you. It is glad to see you.
Definitely.
Oh man, we're a rough start, but this is how it goes. And we actually talked about not having technical difficulties, and it happened very first thing. So
I
I think
know.
we jinxed it. All right, Nick, do you want to tell us a little bit about what we are talking about today?
Yeah, so we are going to break down a little bit about the anatomy of your case studies. Case studies are what make up your entire portfolio. So our idea here is to give you guys like a little step-by-step slideshow. We're going to show you examples of ones that we really like and think would be really good ones to show you as you're building your case studies.
Yep,
That's the
and
plan for today.
the thing today is we're going to look at some of the specific case studies, but the things that we say are all encompassing. They're hopefully for everyone to get what they can out of it and apply it to their portfolios. Also, if you want to be a part of our community, I highly recommend posting your work using hashtag Adobe Office Hours on Behance or Twitter to get featured and get our feedback on the show, as well as going, my favorite part of the show where we point, all right, to this link here, bit.ly. Wow, we did that really
God,
good.
dude,
We got that
this the
locked
sync
in.
is amazing today.
Yes. So go to that bit.ly link, and that will send you to our Slack. And the Slack is a place that you can connect, you can get feedback, you can share your portfolio, you can submit for us to look at it, and just connect with other designers and other creatives. It's a really great resource. All right. So we are going to hop in and talk a little bit about case studies and some of our thoughts on them.
Yeah.
Nick, go ahead and take it away, and I'll transition us back to the right screen. There we
Are
go.
we on slides now?
We are
Great.
on slides.
Perfect. So we're going to talk a little bit about this breakdown, and this is something we've been doing intensively with students right now, getting ready for this thing. And I just want to go into page 2 here real quickly and talk about the case study. And I think anything we've been talking about has shown this, but it is a successful project that you've created, and you are showing 3 things: the problem, the approach, and the solution. So we can go to the next one here. Picking your best. I think we've been noticing that with the last few weeks here, right?
Yep.
Like pick your best, only show the best stuff you want to show. If there's something in there that's not working, you either take it out or improve it yourself. Okay.
I agree. And even at that, that it may not be the work that is like the highest quality. Sometimes it's the
Yeah,
work
you're
that
right.
you are the most passionate about. We've seen a couple projects that we've talked about where the quality was there, but it didn't seem like there was a passion behind it. And we could
Yeah,
tell you
good
don't
point.
care about this, you've just executed it well. So it can be a mix of
Exactly.
those two things.
Yeah. So the next one, design is key. This is one thing I think a lot of us kind of tend to forget, is that your portfolio has to be designed just as good as all of your pieces. So make sure that the layout is easily digestible. It shouldn't fight your work. Your work is obviously the hero. So choosing those layouts and that kind of arrangement that allows for some copy and some captions throughout is super key. Okay. Next one. So here's what we want to do if we want to break it down. I like to look at it as four little mini chapters. You've got the name, or the kind of even the title slide in a lot of ways, introducing the project. Tell us a little bit about it. More importantly, go into the problem. What did you solve as the designer? What was the goal? If you let us know that before we're getting into it, now we know how to kind of go through it and understand what you did. Then there's the approach, and that's everything you did to get there, all your steps, and the solution. This is where you get to like put everything, right? Put everything. Are you
Yep.
pointing to?
I was pointing to the last two because they're
Ah,
just
look
near
at
me.
you.
And so I
See,
want to make sure that we could hit
I'm
those.
looking at you like pointing at the green screen. It's hilarious.
Oh yes, I'm half of a Vanna White. Like I can get here and I can get there, and that's about as far as we get.
Dude,
A
you're
question:
doing
how
good.
many projects do you recommend having in a portfolio? As Alex Lazarus says, over 90,000.
Yes,
What are your
please.
thoughts on that,
At
Nick?
least, is it's more about, let's say you have three case studies and each one is a good 10 slides, 10 mini pages put together. That's enough.
Yep,
If someone looks at this and goes, I got a great picture of who you are as a designer, then you're good. You don't need six.
yep,
But if you make these robust, I think you can narrow it down to four, maybe five max.
yep. I think my Behance I have four. I think my branding deck I have four, and then I have editorial work. I have like literally 90.
And
Um,
isn't that, but that's a good point that you've separated them so you
yep,
can, that number sounds great to me.
yep.
Exactly.
All
Then,
right, and then the last slide for you. Sorry,
oh, yes. So we're on the problem
anatomy of a
one.
case
Is that the
study.
right one? Say again.
The anatomy of a case study.
Yes, perfect. So the next slide is talking about the problem. And this is kind of the thing that I feel like maybe most people are forgetting, is having that idea of the objective. What did you do? What problem did you solve? So don't forget that part when you're designing this stuff.
Yep.
The next slide here is the approach. And this is where you get to put in your plans, your sketches, your inspiration, any thought process you had. Like, what were the efficiencies? How did you run this? How did you make it easier to digest as a design? And then obviously the last one is the solution. That's where you get to show off, your best work and showing it off. I have a slide here that's going to kind of give you just an idea. This last slide, the solution, is just, I want to make sure you guys understand this is where you get to really show off your work. So cropping,
Yes.
scale, negative space makes such a huge important kind of decision in this entire overall layout. So we'll be throughout the weeks showing you more and more of these, but I wanted to have some visual to say, here's an idea. And then we're going to show you a few that we like and that would be a great example live now as well.
Yeah, so we're going to hop over, and today we are going to be doing portfolio reviews, but we also wanted to showcase a couple of portfolios that we love that we think do case studies really, really well. So we're going to
Yeah.
look at those. I'm going to look at one that isn't built in Adobe Portfolio, and then we're actually going to show you Adobe Portfolio, and Nick's going to show you one that is built in Adobe Portfolio to kind of show the contrast. So
Yes.
the kind of high level, there's the button. The kind of high level, this is a great case study, is from our friends at Unfold. You may have seen Peter Del Tondo doing XD streams here or streaming on Behance. He's a part of Unfold, absolutely amazing designer. But the way they do case studies is so robust and
Yeah.
done so well that they lay out, here's the challenge, here is the copy of what we're trying to do. A lot of case studies miss the copy. And then they go into all the technicals, and they're not just
Yes.
throwing stuff on there to show like sketches and wireframes and type. It's very intentional. It's very composed, and even putting in a lot of copy as they move through, it feels like they're holding their hand. Right?
Yeah.
That it's taking me and saying, hey, like a friend, I want to show you this cool thing I made. Let me walk you step by step through all the different things we did and help you understand why we did it.
Mm-hmm.
And then even showing stuff like this, that they have a robust system of illustrations, that it's not just like, cool, here's a bunch of illustrations, that it's moving, it's interesting, it breaks up the page, is a little bit of different, and then piecing together all of the process, showing their wireframes, showing the way that the brand system works through the UI, all that stuff. So it's really, really cool to see this depth and this width. It's the perfect match of the two, that it's a
Totally.
lot of work, but shown very, very well.
And
Um,
it's not overwhelming. You're right. It kind of walks you through. I like the difference of isolated pictures coming in with the white background, and then cropped and pictures going off to the edge. There's a really good variety that just takes you through the entire process. Really nicely
Absolutely.
done.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you can see even in the sections that they're breaking up that it has this white background. And then when it goes to a new section, it has the gray background. That is
Yep.
just something that helps you understand this is a new thing. And yes, I think the width of the images is a lot too, that it is that kind of back and forth, focusing your attention, focusing what you're looking at. So that
Yeah.
is a great example. Now, that is like super high end, super, super custom. I'm going to go over and show you a little bit about Adobe Portfolio and what Adobe Portfolio does. So
Excellent.
it's a great resource that you can edit your sites. You can convert straight from your Behance and convert it right into a portfolio page. You can optimize it for any device here. It can look great on a phone, on a tablet, on a website. You can do custom domains. You can have something that you can link and send to your clients. There's full integration with Adobe fonts, all that stuff. So you can build a great portfolio site very quickly and very easily.
Yeah.
Um, let's go over here, and do you want to look at one? We're going to look at a case study from the Cider work, from Farm Design.
Yes, correct. Perfect. So I wanted to show this one as another example of where brand and packaging and other things can go to. And also keep in mind, I think when we look at the studios and these agencies, a lot of them aren't really showing too much of the gritty process. I think for students and younger designers, it's definitely a smart thing to have in there, you know?
Yep.
But what we're looking at are more of the more polished agencies that aren't doing that. But I think if you really do go through there, and I love where they bring out these great things like the embrace your adventure, and this little nugget of like branding plus copy
Yes.
really is beautifully done. And they bring in that little touch of an environmental picture. I always call it like that human element. If you're bringing in people like that, where they are the perfect kind of example of who the customer of that brand might be, put them
Yes.
in there, right? Beautiful packaging. I love the color blocking, and I love how they take you through. There's great like negative space. The copy is truly why I picked this one to show, because I think sometimes as designers, we can throw in some added value when it comes to copywriting, and that's what's going to shine. I don't
Yes.
see that a lot happening with students. And when the student gets that and throws it in there, guys, you will stand out head and shoulders. So keep that in mind 100%. So that's why
Absolutely.
I
And I
wanted to
love what
show
you're
this one.
doing here with having the different widths of these images, that really these images are just big 1920 by 1080s, but you
Yeah.
cut them up to have some visual interest like the guys at Unfold were doing, but within the confines of this column, I think makes it
Yes.
way more interesting.
Isn't that great? And I love when they show brand artifacts. They show the color in a nice way. They're showing a bit of the environment. So they're taking you through. It's not just visual, 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 visual. It's got those little breaks, and like you said, it's taking us through and holding our hand through the experience. So that's the goal, guys. That's like
Yep.
that's the model to kind of look for and say, I can do this,
Yep.
because any student can be influenced by this and take it to the next level.
Yeah,
100%.
and talking about Adobe Portfolio, this is really great. And if you have a case study, let's do this. So I'll show you literally. So here's my Behance page. I literally just go to Edit Adobe Portfolio, and it will convert it into a website for me. So it's here. I'm going to hit Edit Site, and maybe I don't like the theme that I chose. There are
Yeah.
a lot of themes that you can come in. You can switch to a different theme. Let's say that I want something that's lighter. So I'm going to hit use this theme, and now boom, it's built my site for me. It has the titles, it has the images. If I click through, it is now composed into a beautiful website with this case study. And it's very, very easy to convert this over. So if you don't have an Adobe Portfolio and you've been working on Behance, literally just go click the button and set up your custom website. It's
Yeah.
awesome, super easy, super fun. So go do that.
Perfect.
All right. All right. Who do we want to start with, Nick? We are going to jump into portfolio reviews and talk about case studies today. We're focusing on case studies. So if we're not talking about your portfolio, again, you can submit it using hashtag Adobe Office Hours, and also take all of the words that we say today and maybe apply them to your portfolio. So where
Yeah.
do you want to start?
Are we starting with Colby, I believe?
Let's start with Colby. Colby, are you in
Yeah.
chat? Say hello if you're in chat.
Yeah, please let
Our
us know.
friend Colby Kleitz. Um,
Very well done. I
yeah,
was
let's
going to
say
let you
Colby
have that one.
Kleitz. All right, let me pop on over here. There we go. All right, and this is Colby's Behance page. Really great. And again, it would be super easy to convert this into a really great portfolio page.
Yep.
And yes, don't forget the Adobe Student Slack. Cody just posted it in there. All right.
Perfect.
Um, Where do we want to start? Which project do we want to look at?
Let's go to, I think we had a few picked up that we wanted to check out. Gasparilla or Man in Black?
Let's do Gasparilla first.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Start on a high note.
There we go. So we love this. We were really impressed with just the overall, I think, first impression that we got here. This was really nice.
Yeah.
I like the way that you went into the challenge. That was exactly what we were talking about, right? What did you solve? And that's fantastic. Love seeing that. Then he's got a nice logo system. I would say my first thought here was that the G he's bringing in here was a little bit odd to go with the G that's in such a unique typography of the logo.
I
wonder if there's some reason for that, but like you started us off with a really great tone with that original font there. So I'd say just keep that 100%.
Yep. I think on the adverse of that, I actually want to see your sketches first. I want to see your process before you get into like, here's the logo. I want to see, okay, like how are you getting into the logo? How did you get to this? Because the custom type looks very different than the flag monogram of how did you get between those two?
Yeah. And there might be an explanation if you were to show us that. So that's great. I do like how he did the symbols and little things like that. I'm just assuming that there's some kind of, there's like a nice combination by showing two things put together. I wonder too, like, are you a fan of like, if you've shown me a gritty hand kind of written font for the very beginning or the master logo, should all of the elements be kind of in that roughen kind of vibe? Because sometimes it conflicts with these that are like razor sharp. What do you think?
I personally, and this is me being a specialist, I want everything to look like it's been through a Xerox copy like 90 times. So like if you're going to do texture, like do it like all of it. But maybe for this brand, it wasn't a good fit. That's just like personal preference for me, I think.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, Kobe's with us. Yeah. Thanks for
Kobe.
chiming
and something
in
else
there,
that I like that our friends at Unfold did when we looked at theirs is the titles of having like, here's the title, here's what you're about to look at. We're going to like hold your hand through this. Okay, next we're getting into mock-ups. Here are the mock-ups. It just helps me understand what to expect.
Yes, definitely. It's a good point because I think there's just room to set, and that will help separate a lot of these just going, edge to edge and getting a nice little color block in there with something that tells me what we're going into next, which would be fun. One thing one positive I love about this is that it's not just the logo slapping over and over and over again. You do have a good variety of stuff going there. My biggest thing would be that like this combination of gritty fonts and clean fonts. I wonder if there's a way to get them a little closer together. And then I'm going to feel there's an overall vibe that stays consistent throughout everything.
And something that I feel like is missing in a case study is when I see a good case study, I want to see how the system implements itself. And you've done that a little bit in the social media images. I would feature these social media images much more because it shows it's not just a logo, it's not just colors. It's like a full system that can be implemented in a bunch of different ways. And even though you're putting it on a lot of mock-ups, having it shown on social media to me is something that is the best.
Yeah, definitely. Good applications. So,
and having the interactive prototype down here at the bottom is really great for them to get their hands on.
Definitely. I like the way that's been presented. Everything looks good there really well. I think maybe a few more lifestyle things can be brought in there. It is a music festival, just like we looked at with Farm, getting in some great crowd shots, maybe even as like faded backgrounds to some of your work could be a really great thing. Okay.
Yep. And grounding it with people helps me put myself in the situation to where I'm like, oh, now I want to go to this music festival instead of just like see stuff about the music festival.
Yeah, definitely. Good point. All right. We're going to want to go back to, what was the second one we wanted to look at? Man in Black, I believe.
Oh, yes, it was Man in Black. Yep.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So yeah, we loved your mood board. I think Kobe, what you got there and those sketches, like, man, here's the thought. If you showed those first and then we went and saw your book, I feel like there might be a slight letdown because you've showed us quite an exploration of what inspired you for this. And I wonder if there was any reason why it was like maybe held back a little bit in the book design. Because there's such great stuff here. I think that we were almost waiting to see. I love that you show the ink drawing and everything there too. Like, I just wonder if there could be a little bit more grit in the final piece because, man, you you promised us some good stuff. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I agree. These sketches are cool. And I think the thing that gets me about this is the sketches are really cool and like have a vibe. The mood board has like a really cool vibe. And then I feel like you kind of hit it with the actual book. I think that like there's the texture's not enough. It feels like something got lost in the translation between the cool mood boards and sketches and like the roughness and like the dirtiness of that feels like Johnny
Yeah.
Cash into the application. And
Yeah.
I think putting it on the white backgrounds where it's just clean is like killing the Johnny Cashness of it. Like toss
Yeah.
this on like a rustic wood or like something that's like, like a black metal. Like to me, it just feels more Johnny Cash. And
Yeah.
this as a case study is very lacking to me. I think
There's
if you're
yeah,
building a
no
case study, and this is
explanation.
advice for everyone, find ways to exploit it, right? So this is Man in Black. Literally take the same thing, invert the colors, and do another one that is Man in White, and it's another book, right? And
Hmm.
then it's a box set, and then you can do custom packaging for the box set and another
Yeah.
cover, and you can expand it into a whole nother thing. So if you're working with a case study of one thing, figure out how to make it a bunch of things.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. I think you got like the start of something great here too. Going back to that last case study you had, you took us through that much more. And we realized too, you've thrown this up there and you said, review my portfolio. So maybe this one didn't get the same love as the other one did, but give us that same walkthrough. Tell
Yep.
us the objective. What was happening? What was the challenge? Maybe this was a real job and someone kind of dictated what you needed to do. Like whatever it is, tell us a little bit more. Hope that makes sense. I
Yep.
think
And
it did.
again, with case studies, like this is something for me to look at. I want something to like experience. So even though it may be really
Hmm.
cool visuals that you're like, man, this is something really cool that like everyone should see, like I want to experience it more than I want to see it in a case study.
Yeah, totally,
All
totally.
right, let's hop over. Thanks, Colby. Also, if you're in chat, we have giveaways today. I forgot about
Oh
this.
gosh,
I think that we have
we
giveaways.
have
I'm going to
some
make a promise.
amazing
I'm
giveaways
actually going to hop over and make sure that this is a thing before I talk about us doing a giveaway.
because
Um,
they're that good.
Yes, we will. We will be doing giveaway, and two of the giveaways that we're doing today, near the end of the segment, in about 20 minutes, we'll be doing a giveaway to be featured on some of the Adobe channels as your portfolio to get a feature, which would be really really cool.
That's huge.
And we also will be giving away a Moo gift card for you to get some hands-on photography of some of your work, or to just get some new business cards. So
Oh, everybody woke up.
our friends,
Look at
yeah, I know, right?
that.
Everybody's like, oh my goodness. Yeah, the chat goes crazy. So we'll be doing that a little bit later. We'll do a little chat and win kind of thing. We love giveaways. Yes, we love giveaways.
Yeah.
And a feature is a really cool thing to get some work featured on the Adobe channel. So,
Oh gosh, and get some business cards made. That's
right?
perfect timing.
All right. Let's hop
Love it.
over to Glow Rami.
Yes. Glow, are you with us today?
Hello. One, I love that the purple hair matches like the purple necklace. Like I think that that's the greatest like on brand. Like yeah, I know who I am. Uh,
Yeah. She's like, and it's PMS. She's got the right color name
Yeah, she's
for it and
got the right
everything.
colors like locked in. Yeah, she has like the color swatch like held up.
Yeah,
100%.
that's
Hello,
great.
Glow. Are you with us in chat? If not, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Let's hop in. We are going to be looking at some case studies, and we're going to not talk as much about the work here. We're going to be talking a lot about the case studies on yours.
The
She's here.
arrangement.
Hello.
Hey,
Um,
what's up, Glow?
so let's hop in. Do we want to start? Where do we want to start? Shube?
The shoe. You want to do Shube?
Shube. Let's do Shube.
Yeah,
Shube, like
love it.
Loki, would be like a great name for somebody. Like I
Oh
would totally name a child Shube,
Shube. I
or
love
like
it.
a dog, one of the two. I
It's really good.
Yeah, I
It's
have
really
no
good.
children, and so first is the children name, and then it goes to a dog because I'm like I don't have any children, but I could get a dog, I guess.
Shube for a dog would be hilarious
Shube
too. But
would
let's
be a
get into this.
good.
I love
Sorry,
this.
yes. So we got to try.
So
Oh boy.
we it was the first one we picked because we did know I had a feeling it was gonna be exactly what it was, and I love this idea of it being something to celebrate the addiction of sneakerheads and all that kind of stuff, and it was great. And this is really something. You got so much content on here, Glow. Our biggest kind of response was that this could be an amazing case study if you edit back a little bit, right? I think that was kind of what we were thinking here. How do we shrink this down to something that you could take us through a little bit more and really highlight some of your images here are so cool. I want to see them nice and big so we can see exactly how much work you did, you know?
Yep, I agree. And there is so much here. This is a case study where it almost feels like I'm drowning in it
Yeah.
because there isn't anything holding my hand. Like this is the equivalent of like going through a maze at like Halloween Horror Nights, right? Where you know that there's like so much that's exciting and like crazy, but you don't have a friend. You're just like walking through and you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know, am I gonna get like attacked? Like what's about to happen? That if you're with a friend, they're like, hey, come this way. Like we can go here, we can go there. And being able to kind of walk me through here, whether it's having headings, whether it's talking about like, hey, this is a story that like this is what the page is,
Yeah.
or here's what's happening here or what is about to happen.
Yep.
um Even like this spread of like top sneakers of 2018, it's cool that you're featuring the spread, but I would like to break it up a little bit with some copy to help me
Yeah.
understand a little more. And because it looks like you did print this, it looks like you can buy copies of it. Because it looks like you did print it, I would actually like to see actual photographs. It looks like a lot of these are mock-ups
Mm-hmm.
with that same kind of like glow. If the design of it is this crazy and this like brutalist crazy like out there experimental, like replicate that in your photography. Like
Yeah.
sure, show some of the spreads that are really good, but a lot of times when you're building case studies, it's more about what's around it than like what the thing actually is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
putting it in context I think will be very helpful.
It's all about the presentation on this one because I think you've got such fun stuff to look at. Just get it to us a little clearer and a little more concise, and I think we'll have something really amazing here. Looks
Yeah,
great.
I
Looks
agree.
really
Yep.
good. Okay.
And it's oh yeah, I think the only photo that you have is the photo at the top of it in a plastic sleeve.
Yeah.
Um and it's like it's fun. I think it's fun because it's not the like, oh, this is a professional whatever. I'm like I stapled to this wall and took a picture with my iPhone, which like
Sure.
totally matches the vibe. I want to see
Yeah.
more of that though. Like I want to see like pages that are torn out and just like thrown on a table and you're like, I don't know, here's the magazine. Of really playing with that stuff.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep. Very cool. All right. Where are we off to next?
I think let's hold for just a second because I think we just lost the live stream.
I think so too. I wasn't
So
sure
we're
about
gonna
that.
we're gonna hold for just a second and hang out. Um,
Yeah, I noticed that just went away. So I was curious if.
it did. Let me double check that it wasn't
Mhm.
me. Nope, it's not me. Let me keep. We will hold and we will pretend like it's happening.
Okay.
Let's actually continue because the recording is still happening.
Perfect.
So let's keep talking and see. They'll figure it out on the other side. Cool.
Great.
So we're back to yours, Glow. We're keeping going, and let's go ahead and hop into
Apartment
um,
farming.
which
Want to
one?
do that? Apartment farming. One we. That one.
Yes.
I think that was the second one we were
Oh
looking at, right?
yes, let's do that.
Yeah. So again, boy, did you nail, I think, the layout here and the presentation of it. Love everything about your icons. So cool. Color choices, so cool. My biggest concern is the apartment farming 101, let's call it logo
I
or
agree.
typography.
I agree.
To me, you have shown us something so worthy of some incredible, amazing brand ID logo. And you just swap that out on this one, and you've got a killer case study.
I agree that like your your photography that you have is perfect to like,
Mm-hmm.
and again, it's not necessarily about showing off your product and showing off your design a lot of the times. It's about just having an experience and helping to walk us through.
Totally.
So here I see this image and it puts me in a farmhouse. It puts me at a farmer's market, even though it has nothing to do with your brand. It puts me in the right mindset to now when I
Yes.
read your problem, when I read the solution, I start to understand and I see your colors and it's familiar to me. And the amount of copy you have here is so good to have just a little explanation.
Well, it shows you did more than just like a logo and a few packaging things. You put together this little quiz, you put together a chart, you have planting instructions, you've got this calendar, and like it's so great. There's so much good stuff. One other thing to just make sure you notice is I think it might be just because you scaled it up. The last image gets very, very pixelated. So make sure you get that kind of changed off.
Yep.
I wouldn't be too bad in leaving your font choice throughout your headlines. which is kind of the same font you have in your logo. One thing I always like to say is your logo font should be only used in your logo sometimes,
I
especially in
agree.
something this fun and animated and with character, and maybe even a hand lettering thing of something very cultivative and something real gardeny could be so cool. Leave the font in your headlines, but when you bring in that diagonal slant thing as the drop, it feels like a little bit of a mistake to me too. It feels like a little bit of a glitch,
I agree.
you know.
Um,
So we just want to see a really cool new looking logo there for sure.
Cool. So the thing that I also like here is this is, and I say this a lot, that a good idea with a bad application is still a good idea, but a bad idea with a great application is still a
Mm-hmm.
bad idea. It's like trying to like polish a turd, right? That this is a good idea with an okay application. And I think literally the okayness is coming from that type that you're using on the cover of that. Like changing
Yeah,
that type out, and you'll have matched it with a great idea with a great application. Because the illustrations, your case study, everything is amazing. The only thing is that heading. It just
yeah,
feels out of nowhere, especially because it is so wonky. Then your
yeah,
illustrations are such clean lines. So I would find something that
yeah.
matches your illustration line weight a little better.
Yep. Yep. And hierarchy, whatever you redesign for that apartment farming 101, make sure that 3 items are not of equal weight. You got to give me what's the most important. I think the cool thing about it is it's apartment farming. That would be everyone's thinking about that right now. I know 3 neighbors that are talking about planting gardens.
Yep.
So do it now. This is a great thing for the time to show. It's specifically a really good case study. So well done with that, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And let's go ahead and hop into one more at the bottom
Cozy,
here.
right?
Yeah, which is the cozy winter
Yeah,
characters.
because we just that illustration is killer. I love everything about it.
It is.
But
Yes, but then what? I
yes,
think is what we're getting to is then what? Like right, we have um this really great images, but like then what? What
where
would
do
you
you take
suggest to
this?
do with this, Nick?
Gosh, the first thing I thought of was a fantastic campaign for Starbucks or a coffee chain. Uh, Pick a coffee chain that no one else really does. Maybe something more local in your neighborhood. Everyone maybe might go to the Starbucks thing as the first one, but this would be a great winter campaign for like 3 or 4 of the latest new winter blends. Oh my
Absolutely.
God, I think you can turn this into something great. I noticed you do have a tutorial linked at the bottom. That's really cool too. But we just saw this as such a great potential to turn into something even bigger and grander. And it doesn't have to be a lot. This can be just a nice 3 or 4 page scroll down kind of
Yep.
project for your case studies.
Yeah, and this is a great example of making
Campaign for like
sure
3 or 4 of
that there's a little double audio happening. Of making sure that you expand it, right? That I want to see
yes.
this on a coffee cup. I want to see this that has type around it that says like merry and bright, right? That it's
Yeah.
something that can expand out into a whole new system. I think that
Love
would
it.
be really really cool.
Great idea. All
Yeah.
right.
All right. Let's go ahead and look at um,
Mohammed.
yes.
Awesome. All right.
Mohammed. All right. So let's talk about what do we want to look at first?
Let's dive into the you play a role, or was it the donut? No, the donut one, I think, right?
Let's do the donut one first. Yes,
Yeah.
and yes, we are back. Hello, everyone in chat. If you're watching the replay,
Ah.
it's like nothing happened. If you're not and watching it live, we're live. It is very much live. And again, we talked about never having issues on this stream before, and look what happens today.
You
I
had
said
to
it.
mention that
I
earlier,
said it,
didn't
and I
you?
was like, I have jinxed it. But we're gonna continue on. Not gonna talk about it anymore. We're just gonna go into this case study from Mohammed. Mohammed, are you in chat? Say hello if you are in chat. We would love to hear from you. And yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at this case study.
Killer.
Do you want to scroll through the whole thing? Do we want to go as we go? How do we want to do it?
I think we can scroll through the whole thing because I think we had some pretty common concerns here about what we saw, right?
Yep.
So we're scrolling through. I think at first glance, I'm loving it because it feels today, it feels now. It's like definitely got the donut vibe with the color choices and everything you've got there, very kind of cool, right? But I think what we saw was when we were looking through it, we were kind of thinking, can you is there a enough here to kind of give us the full vibe and potential of who the personality of this brand is? Sometimes I'm a big fan of these geographic or geometric shapes and these patterns and grids, but I'm seeing them so much. So how does that help you stand out as a unique brand, right? Like that's typically what I'm seeing a lot in this zone. And what I love to see is when someone is daring and does something a bit not expected in that industry, particularly like let's call it the donut industry here. What can you do to be a little bit different and give us something 100% more original?
Yeah, I don't know why you said we when you referenced a few times because I disagree. I think this is great. I really think this is great. I think the way that you've done this animation of the donut is really
Hmm.
cool. I think that it may not be something that I haven't seen before, but it is executed very well.
Gotcha.
It is the idea of like, I think it's a cool idea with a really great execution. I kind of agree that maybe the idea could be better and more original, but I think your execution helps to level up an okay idea into something that's really great.
Yeah.
My thing is the only thing that I can give you like a harsh feedback on is this dude's in here twice. Don't use the same image twice. So he's once there, and then he's down in this poster as well. To
Hmm.
me, it kind of just cheapens it to make it look like, oh, these are all mock-ups. I think you
Yeah.
could sell that they're not mock-ups if you didn't have him in there twice.
Gotcha.
Um, and I
So
like that you have the vibe of like just this coffee shop, or I guess it's this donut shop. I would put
yeah.
that higher to like introduce me to bring me in the door to say like, oh, here is where we are, and then
Yeah.
move me through.
Yeah. So here's where I would get into my nitty gritty on this one. Um, we all can see Duncan and a few other great examples of branding throughout packaging, throughout environmental, right? This brand has to live on so many different things. My only thing was that all I'm seeing is the Do Donuts logo and that pattern repeated over and over and over again. Whereas I think some commentary, if you look at the cups, the bag, I love the little donut, like little caddy, that's fantastic. But give me something else. This is where you can bring in fantastic copy, like small, medium, large on your coffee cups, and have a little fun with that. Like, I don't know the brand's voice. I don't know the brand's kind of like personality. It's definitely got the color, and I think that's a given. But I want to see what the brand's voice is. Like, how would they talk if they were to give us some messaging? You know,
I agree with
I
you on
feel
that
like you
one.
have so much potential on this one, man. You could drop in a few of those. Like, is it? Are you going to be like the comedian? Are you going to be the jester and like play jokes on people? Are you very juvenile as a brand? Then put that copy on a lot of those things, and I think this can sing 100%.
Yep.
That's what I feel like is missing. So,
Yep, and even this is my free art direction to you. Um, like it would be really fun to do the sizes, but like with different amounts of O's. That like the big one is like the do, and then like
yeah,
the second one is like the do, and then the last one is like do.
yeah,
Which is like not a thing, but I think that would be funny. But yeah, you need to establish a voice for the brand. Something that I was noticing that you did that I love. And again, I like this case study. Gonna say it again. I love that you put the 5% noise over here, and I don't know how much you can see it on the stream with the detail. Can I zoom in more? Yes. So you can see that there's a 5% noise on top of this
yes,
image. I do that all the time because what it does is it brings in and ties together photography that may have that noise in it from the photograph
yeah,
into something that is digital, and it really brings it into a whole nother world.
yeah. I'm I might be a little bit off on that. I know what you're saying and why that is a unifier, and I think a lot of times we need that in some brands. But I feel like is it too much or is it too uniform? Because like I feel like it looks very artificial to me. Like that's and I think some of these would look fantastic in full rich color tones, almost jewel tones. Like if it shined a little bit, if it had a little metallic or something. No brand in this industry has that. So
Oh
I
man, I
disagree.
love the powderiness of it. I
You
love
love
the
the powdery of
powderiness.
it.
I do. That's funny. You want like metallic, and I'm like, please cover it in
I
flour.
know. Can't be any more different. But
Yes.
that's just shows you where you could take this anywhere. But if you told us at the beginning that this brand was a, what to expect and what the expectation is, then we might be in agreement here. But because I think we might be off and have different opinions, it's because you haven't told us like a little bit more about who they are. So
Yes. Yep. And
that's what you need.
aside from our opinions, like we shouldn't have an opinion, especially when you're
Yes.
doing a case study. Is like tell us what to think.
Yep.
And I don't think that you've told us what to think, and so we have differing opinions on it because
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like, do we like it? Do we
Yeah.
not like it?
Yeah.
Instead of did he accomplish the goal? And like, what is the world that he created? Because then we can just be like, yes, I get it. I get this case study.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I think I kind of get it. Nick kind of gets it in a different way, and it's kind of
Yeah.
this big question mark of like, is this what it
Yep.
should be?
And don't forget too, this is a great example of maybe you in your head might know exactly what you're trying to say with this and what the explanation is. And here we are saying we don't know, but show it to a non-designer friend or family member sometimes and just say, walk through this. Does
Yep,
it make sense to you? Right?
absolutely. I
What
do.
does
So,
do mean? Like
yep,
when we see that repeated, I might not know that. So give us that. And you might find by showing to a few other folks that haven't seen this, especially not friends from your class or maybe people who have seen it already, a complete, new, fresh person to see this could really, really help. I do
yep,
that all the time because I think as designers, we're in it so much that we know all of that, but the consumer or the viewer might not.
yep.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna ream you for this right now because I just saw it. Your animation has a different logo lockup than everything else. It is DO with the donut and then dot
Yes.
donuts. So make sure that you're staying consistent across the brand, especially with that being your first thing, and then changing it
Yeah.
for everything else. So
Ah, I see what you're
yeah,
saying. Yes, because
I
usually
got you.
that's like dough
Yep,
do
it's like
nuts. Yeah,
do
instead
donuts.
of
Yep,
do. Yep.
yep. So that's
I
just a
watched some
little.
of I think some of the logo positioning on the cups looked a little bit off angle too. Just be really careful with that. Okay.
Yep, little details. All right, so a question from Zaman.
Yeah.
Should we create our own design with new idea for a famous brand and upload that to our portfolio? Should it be an issue or not? What are your thoughts on doing like unsolicited rebrands, I guess?
Rebrands. I'm super like I'm down for them if it's specifically a young designer to show that. My only requirement would be you just don't do it and put it out there. You explain why you are tackling the rebrand. Did the brand go through some crazy bad press, or are they expanding into other demographics? Like, do they have to look younger now? Tell me why you're doing it. I see them all the time, like on Instagram, and it's like, yeah, it might be a great design, but why was it rebranded?
Yep,
Just like we said, tell us why, and then we can judge that if it was successful or not. That's
exactly.
all.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
And so before we get into another one, I just want to tell you guys again, we're doing giveaways. So hang on, we'll be doing it in about 5 minutes, and you can start now
Go for
to
it.
start on these. What I want you to do is tweet your portfolio using hashtag Adobe Office Hours. And we'll be taking images from one of those portfolios. We'll be contacting you, and we'll be doing a feature on the Adobe channels of that portfolio. So go right now.
On Twitter.
Yeah, like keep this open in one tab, but in another tab.
Don't close
Don't leave
this.
us. Don't leave us. But go on to Twitter, put it on Behance, use the hashtag Adobe Office Hours, and we'll be taking one of those and featuring you on the Adobe channels. And then we'll also be using those for next week's segment as we talk about more. So go right now, do that, and then in about 5 minutes, we'll do our other giveaway, which will be a chat and win for a Moo gift card for you to have some good mock-ups.
Oh,
So we've got
Kobe, I just wanted to bring up, he brought up a great point about Alan Peters doing that rebrand of the Gatorade. I think what he did was fantastic, and it got such good leverage, and I think it put a really good spotlight on him. I think that's a great example. I didn't dive deep to see if he talked about why he rebranded it, but it's a perfect example of what kind of like buzz you can get as a designer by doing that.
Yep.
100%. I saw that everywhere. So
absolutely.
definitely.
Yep. And so we got a few minutes. Let's run through real quick the You Play a Role, because I think that this is a good one. People that are not on Twitter, post on Behance. Hashtag Adobe Office Hours.
Yes. Perfect. All right.
All right. Let's take a look at this. So my thoughts initially, since we don't have a lot of time, we're going to kind of run through this fast. I love that you have copy here, that you have a little bit of intro for me. And I love that you start with your process, right? That these are crappy sketches that like don't look great, that are kind of just notes all over the place. It helps me understand your process. And understand where you're going with things, and then showing the behind the scenes right at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
To me, this is taking me on a journey that I'm like, cool, I'm actually a part of this. I'm standing in the studio with you.
Mm-hmm.
What's it going to look like?
show the behind the scenes like that.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes. And then as we go through, now you start to show here's the final stuff. And to me, I'm so bought in already that I'm like, yep, I love this and I want to be a part of this.
Yep. This looks
Gosh, this is
great.
a really fun campaign.
Yeah.
Um, the only suggestions that I would have is a little bit on the photo retouching. If you're doing a campaign like this that is bright and bold and crazy, the yellowness of your duck should be basically your white balance. And so the yellowness in the duck is different in all of your photos. You want that
Ooh,
to be
good
like the
point.
key thing that is super bright and pops. So just white balance, basically. I mean, yellow balance to
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
duck.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, I can see that a lot.
Yep.
You know what when I looked at this, I had to go back up to see what the reason or what the idea and objective was of this case study. My thought is it's so good, and everything you said, Andrew, was 100%. My only thought is you can't rely on you play a role as the only messaging throughout this entire campaign. I get that that's the name of it, but I think in all of you, as you have different applications, you have different picture collages, have a subhead that maybe relates to that particular one. The one with the glove and the Legos might
Yep.
have a particular one. Then the one with the purse and the rubber ducky and all that stuff. Maybe there's something specific to that one that you have a subhead. And lastly, your Stop Smoking America in the circle gets completely lost because smoking goes upside down. And that is such a vital message for this thing
Yep.
that I feel like this rounded kind of text on a curve it's probably not the best solution for it. So again, like it's these two little things that will take this thing to a whole other level because man, you've shown some incredible work. I love those behind the scenes pictures. I love the sketches, man. You brought this to life and I mean, I can't imagine all of those Legos on fishing wire. That must have took a little while.
Yep. It's
For
great. It
sure.
it really is great. And I almost that's not good art direction. Never mind. I was gonna give you advice, but I actually hate it immediately. Yeah, I would definitely say. So I don't understand what it is as I go through reading your copy. That like, oh, this is something that talks about the dangers of secondhand smoke for children. Um, I think I don't get that.
Well, if your pacifier for your baby is in your purse along with cigarettes, there's a chance there could be some, secondhand smoke or secondhand, related issues.
Yep.
I
And
think
I
that's what
wonder,
he's trying to say.
even in the bottom left of these, if you
Mhm.
have a little block of copy that is
Yeah.
like secondhand smoke is whatever for children, that like this is the problem, and it's in that corner, so it helps me
Yeah.
understand. And maybe like these headings again are like, it's not just a game if with the video game stuff, or
Yeah.
like whatever
Would
that
that be
like,
great?
yeah, you're not just like out on the town, or you're not just
Or a
stepping outside or
statistic.
something.
Throw
Yes.
me a percentage on this one that says, 78% of, gloves still contain, something from the smoke or whatever it is. Like throw in those and man, you've sold it. The percentage or some statistic would be great on these things.
Yep.
Definitely cool.
Yep. And I think another question from Zaman, who asked about
Yeah.
the case study from zero. I think you don't have to start from zero. Like if you want to, you can practice by doing brands and rebranding things.
Yeah.
I think that it's beneficial to start from zero,
Hmm.
but it doesn't always have to be something that is going to be a thing. It can just be a personal project that you're like,
Yeah.
this is a fun idea for a brand. And even so, like as an example, this thing for the credit awards. I think I showed it a couple times. This was something that I did on Adobe Live that literally was like the Oscars were coming up, and I was like, oh man, it'd be fun to do an award show for the people that don't get to go to the Oscars, that are like the crew and stuff. And so
Yeah.
we built out a full branding case study that it can be something that's stupid,
Perfect.
that's just a fun idea that you have, and just chase it and see what happens. Sometimes it turns into something really cool.
That's great. Yep.
All right.
Love it.
So let's go ahead and do our chat and win. What do we want to ask them to chat for? What should they put in chat?
Ooh. How about their favorite font?
Oh yeah, what's your favorite font? So chat, put in chat, what is your favorite font? And we will be giving away a Moo gift card. I'm sure there
Yes.
is a mod somewhere that will follow up with you. I always do giveaways, and I'm like, I don't know how it's gonna work, but
Hey,
like
that
it'll go
mod's gonna
somewhere.
handle it.
Yes, eventually you will get it. There is a message in my inbox from our winner last week to set up a portfolio
Oh
review time.
yes.
So I need to follow up
Perfect.
on that. Sorry. So
Cool.
what is your favorite
No Comic
font?
Sans, please. No Comic Sans.
You know what? Okay, here's the
Uh-oh.
hot take. Here's my
Let's
hot
go.
take. I think that Papyrus can have a place. So like everyone was mad about it being an avatar. I
Yeah.
think it was so right for Avatar. Like I saw it and I was like, you know what? I think they did it. I think they found the right place for Papyrus to be.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at these fonts coming through.
Oh, there we go.
Montserrat. Yep. Babus New is one of my
Yes.
favorites. Proxima Nova.
Always, yeah. Yeah. Babus. I love that one. That's a great
Babus.
one. Yes.
All right, keep them coming.
Keep them coming.
What's the best way to embed a video full screen? You can make a GIF.
I,
Yes. Narc.
Franklin Gothic.
Franklin Gothic is
Oh,
the
Andy,
jam.
please no.
I made
What have I taught you?
I made a custom version of Franklin Gothic that was
Ooh.
really fun. It was all like rounded and bubbly. It was fun.
Yes,
all right.
Trade Gothic.
Do you
Love
want to
that.
pick our winner, Nick, from the chat that you have seen? You can scroll up, scroll down, find someone as they're coming in, and pick who our winner is. Yes, I think it's Mrs. Eves, unless there is a Mr. Eves, but I love that one as well, Jenny.
I'm a big fan of the Babus New, so I'm going to go with Overtuff.
Overturf?
Turf, yes, Overturf. There it is.
Steven Overturf. You are our winner of a Moo gift card. We'll be following up with you. Thanks so much for hanging out today. Congratulations. Yay.
Yeah.
All right. So that was pretty much it for today. We're going to go through a little bunch of different ways you can get involved. So please stick around for the next 4 or 5 minutes. We're going to talk through that. Nick, would you like to point up with me? What's up here, Nick? What is floating above our heads?
I see green screen. You're ahead of me.
It's like
Don't
imagine
forget.
like nothing. What does this link send people to?
The Slack channel?
Yes, it is the Slack channel. You got it. 10 points for Nick. I should have done the show me Slack channel. Yeah, show me Slack channel. Yes.
I'd like to buy a vowel, Andrew.
Yes. It is our Slack channel. You can get involved there, get connected, hang out with us, post your portfolios. It's just a great resource for us to come together. And hang out. Another great opportunity is right here every Friday at 1 p.m. We will be hanging out. Do we have any ideas what we're talking about next week, Nick? Any thoughts?
Ooh, I think we should be talking a little bit about once we break into the case study, a little bit about those secret weapon kind of elements you can kind of put throughout there that really grab the attention. But like you said, connect the dots. I think that's the main thing that we can probably talk about next. We're trying to keep this in some kind of order. And I know you guys have given us some great stuff to kind of talk about, but we're going to try to keep it in the order that I think it's, easily understable to you guys.
100%. Yep. And so, next stream will be a ninja stream of the things that you can use in your portfolios to sneak up on your clients. I think I'm going to do like the ninja head wrap thing.
That'd be a great idea.
Right. I've been doing that when I go to like the supermarket with a t-shirt. I'll do the mask, but then I'll also just make it into like a ninja mask. Cool. So you can get connected on the Slack. You can get connected by joining us next week live. You also can get connected again, hashtag Adobe Office Hours, Twitter, Behance, Instagram. Sure, why not? Go ahead and post your work, submit it, stay engaged with us, and who knows, we may feature you next week. If we do, we'll contact you so you are watching and make sure that you are hanging out. Nick, do you have any overall thoughts from today to help kind of close us out for the day?
Yeah, I hope we've given you guys like the idea to storyboard your thing before actually attempting to build these. Get out a sketch pad, get out your sticky notes and play around with the idea of the flow and before you design anything. I think as designers, we want to go right in and just open up an app and start just grinding at this thing and doing it. Have a plan. I think we've shown you that the wireframing, the quick little tips here really, really help.
I agree. Yep. And I think that that's such an interesting thing that even if it is like, oh, I'm doing a literal case study on a storyboard how that storyboard is going to look. Right? Exactly. Like storyboarding your case study is such an interesting idea, and it will be very, very helpful. And chat, for the next 2 minutes, go ahead and put the things that you want to see us talk about in chat for the next few weeks. We've been collecting that, and we're going to start applying it each week. Connecting the dots will be really cool. Yes, please do the ninja stream. Our friend Flynn is here. If you guys are late night people, Flynn works with Adobe in Australia and streams at nights with some special guests. So if you miss
never have to turn it off.
If you miss some of the content during the day from 8 to 3 here, you can tune back in at night here in the States and watch some great content with Flynn. So come hang out and check that out. It's pretty fun.
That's perfect.
Cool. That's going to wrap up for today. We are so appreciative that you guys hung out.
Yeah,
I'm glad that
guys.
we made it through. If you missed anything in the middle with our technical difficulties, you can go back and watch the replay. It will stay at this same link, or you can go to YouTube and watch it there. So,
Perfect.
Nick, would you like to take us out and say goodbye?
Thank you guys so much. Have a great weekend. Have a great Friday. Wherever you are, stay safe. Hopefully we'll see you next week.
Yep.
Let
See you
us
next
know what
week.
we can do to improve for
All
sure.
right. We will see you later, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.